All right.
And there we are. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first webinar of the day.
Mhm.
We are two teachers here from Milano Meravigli in downtown Milan, coming to you from our homes, of course. I am Seth. I'm an American teacher. I've been in Italy for about 4 years, and today I'm sitting on my bed. I'm doing this from my bed today. I try, like, we move it every day. So do you recognize it's a little different today? You and I've had many lessons together.
Oh yeah,
So,
you have. Yeah. Well, I thought that was like a cupboard, a wardrobe behind you.
well, my
Uh-huh.
bedroom has like these big built-in oh, you can't see
Oh,
them,
okay. Yeah, I
so,
can see. Yeah,
but
I can see
there's
them.
cabinets built in all
Hmm.
around. And
Oh,
so
nice.
it
Lots of
is.
space. Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of space.
So
I like it. Oh,
so I
nice.
don't look like I'm actually laying in bed, but I'm half laying in bed. So and who
Okay.
are you? Tell us about you, lovely
Yes.
lady.
Hi, I'm Angela, and I am also a teacher at Meravili along with Seth. And I am from this wonderful country called Nepal. Small, but very interesting country. And what else is there to say, Seth? I feel like I've been saying the same things
I know.
every day. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves? Let us know who's here. Um,
Yeah, I'm
Tell
making a
us,
banner right now. There we
yeah, tell us
go.
your name. Tell us about yourself. Yeah, tell us where you're from. And yeah, tell us what you do.
Well, today is a nice lesson. Let me put up
Yeah,
here. I've got it ready.
it's really
So false
interesting.
friends.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's I think probably no, I don't know how many people watching us just yet, but if you're at
Yeah.
home, the best way that you could participate with this is to tell us which false friends that you know about.
Mm-hmm.
Um and maybe this lesson in particular has lots of stories about using false, like, situations where false friends have created some. Ah,
Mm-hmm.
hello,
Great.
Martina. Um,
Hi, Martina
Hi,
from
Martina.
Genova.
I love Genova. It's a nice city, good
Yeah,
city.
I love.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, Martina is so beautiful. Look at her picture.
oh yeah, nice. Hi,
Gorgeous.
Martina.
And isn't it where the pesto sauce is from? Genova. I think they said it's from
Pesto was
Genova.
from, yeah, from
It's
Liguria, from this province. It's so good.
yeah. Oh,
Oh
I
my
love
goodness.
pesto.
During the time that we've been locked in here at my house, we've made focaccia twice, and focaccia is also from Liguria, from the province of Genova.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of fun. The first one we made,
Uh huh.
we're learning, but the second one looked like what you would buy at the grocery store. It tasted good. We were like at a
Mm.
bread shop. It was really, really nice. So we were very impressed by ourselves. So
Good.
yes.
Yeah, that's hard to come by. So that's really that's good. Impressed with
Oh, and then
ourselves.
we have another person, Daniela from Bologna. Hello.
Mhm. I don't see
Pesto
Daniela's
focaccia.
name.
Not Daniela.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, there.
Daniela
Yeah,
Vannini.
Daniela.
Yeah, from
It's so strange. I
Bologna.
don't see her comment on
Oh,
my screen. Yeah.
oh, who
Very
knows?
strange.
Maybe it'll show up.
Mhm.
Well, Angela, do you want to read What Are We Day?
Yes, we're going to be learning a few things on false friends and common errors.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
so it's a useful lesson to check. Just,
Mhm,
we're going to look at some sentences that are written incorrectly and try to
mhm,
identify the error. That's like a really good exercise for checking your
mhm.
understanding of grammar, if
Yep.
especially the common
Uh-huh.
errors. So,
Oh,
all right, here we
mhm.
go. Oh,
Now I
Daniela
see
says another
Daniela. Okay,
thing.
from Bologna.
There she is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now I see her.
Ah,
Actually, I'm
this
currently.
most false friend, in
Ah.
my opinion, that is a common one actually, and currently,
Mm-hmm.
because actually functions differently in Italian.
Is it?
And yeah, and the problem is now because I speak Italian as well, and as I am starting to use actually in the way that Italians use actually. So sometimes I am reinforcing the false friend.
Okay. Okay, so actually,
Danielle,
let's see the difference between actually and currently. Okay, so she does. I mean, Daniela, you do understand the difference between these two words in the English language, and I would think it would be like saying attualmente in Italian.
but it's not actually because they use so currently, meaning now,
Yeah,
is what
currently would be the
but that's
present
what
time.
attualmente means now in
I
Italian.
see. Okay,
And
now I
for
get
us,
it.
yeah, and actually for us, we use it to mean
It
like as
means
a reinforcer,
reality. Yeah,
like
in
like I
reality.
really do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
so the
great.
ideas are a little different.
Okay, that's a good one. Daniela is watching with her 3-year-old daughter, so she won't. So she will presumably be
In
inconsistent.
constant,
Okay,
yeah, in and out,
I
no
understand.
problem.
Absolutely.
I'll
Daniela, I have a
probably be,
4-year-old daughter, so I know exactly
yeah.
what you mean.
Well, here
All
we go to the first
right.
thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to read some
Mm-hmm.
little stories that have false friends and then try to identify um well, these are just sorry, I'm thinking of the other false friend lesson we have. These are just things about problems with translation. So
Yeah.
do you want to read this one for us
Yes,
first,
sure.
Angela?
Yeah, absolutely. When Pepsi entered the Chinese market a few years ago, the translation of their slogan, Pepsi brings you back to life, was a little more literal than they intended. In Chinese, the slogan translated to Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the grave. Oh, Lord.
Ooh, okay.
And you don't mess with Chinese ancestors because they do,
No, you don't.
worship them and things. Ooh.
Yeah, this actually, I lived in China, and I remember when I lived there, hearing about this, um, and it's true that because Chinese, is works very differently than English, and the sounds are very, very important, and so now I know in Chinese, Coca-Cola, they pronounce, so this is for Coke, not for Pepsi, but for
Uh-huh.
Coke, the same thing. So Coca-Cola, they call Coca-Cola.
Yeah, cool.
And what's interesting too is because of the way the characters are, they
Uh-huh.
have some characters mean something, but some characters are just sounds. Like you can read it, but alone it doesn't mean anything. And they use the character that means
It's crazy.
mouth. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so like Coca-Cola has lots of symbols for your mouth in it. So it's because it's
Uh-huh.
something you drink. So they kind of changed
Oh,
it. So it means nothing now. It's just a sound. But
wow.
at the beginning, it also in Chinese, it also meant something very strange. So, oh, Daniela wants to talk about daughters.
Yes. So Daniela, my daughter is 4 years old. Yeah.
Nice. And hers is 3.
And
I think there's a
3.
big difference though between 3 and 4, isn't there?
Uh,
Like,
yes, I have to say every well, when they're so little, every month there's a lot of development. There are lots of milestones almost every month. So
wow,
yeah. So there
that's
are
cool.
differences. Yeah, you see a lot of
Yeah.
differences. Hey, yeah.
Cool. Oops. I'll go on to the next one. I also remember hearing about this. It's another story. General Motors was confused when their new car, the Chevy Nova, wasn't selling in South America. The company finally realized that Nova in Spanish translated to "it won't go." Sales radically improved after the car was renamed Caribe. So this is similar, like in Italian, like non va would be it does,
Okay, it won't
but
go. Yeah.
in English, because like to me sounds like they're trying to say it's like it's new. It sounds
New,
interesting,
yeah.
like a word,
Novel, yeah.
but yeah,
Exactly.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
in Italian, apparently no one bought it because why would you buy a car that doesn't work?
That doesn't go. Yeah,
So
exactly. True. Oh my God.
kind
Such
of kind of
wonders.
funny things.
And the thing is that, this
Um,
world, we're just so full of so many different cultures, and it's, and people think differently in every part of the world. And Seth, you're so well traveled, and you know exactly what I mean when I say,
yeah, yeah.
like, people are really different. It's very difficult for someone who hasn't traveled to actually understand this, right?
I would agree. The first time I really left like Western culture, I went
Mm-hmm.
to Bangladesh, and so
Oh
very
yeah.
poor country as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like before that, I had been to Europe several times, but Europe and the United States are, it's easy to travel between. It's basically still the same, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
big
Mm-hmm.
cultural group, the
Yeah.
Western Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had been to Brazil, but
Mm-hmm.
Brazil is also, Portuguese. It's also connected to Europe. So
Mm-hmm.
culturally, of course, things were different, but in terms of the way people acted with one another, it
Mm-hmm.
was the same. But when I went to
Mm-hmm.
Bangladesh, that was the first time I was in like what I think they call it, like face culture, where
Yeah. Culture
and
shock.
yeah, and
You had the
so,
culture.
so different.
Uh-huh.
And then in particular, then when I was in China, even more so. And it's true that like, because in my mind, I remember even when I went to Bangladesh, I thought, okay, I mean, I'm going so far away, but
Mm-hmm.
the world at this point, and we always say in English, it's a small world. It is
Mm-hmm.
small, but the whole world is not the same just yet,
Yeah.
for
Not
sure.
yet. Not yet. Yeah.
And even in China, like China has so many aspects of Western culture,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not. It's different. I mean, it's completely different,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's interesting because it is kind of like I was in China for 3 years, and by the
Mm-hmm.
end of the third year, I was really tired of feeling outside because you
Ah.
really do. And I mean, you even talk so much. I don't know, like in Nepal and like in India, where
Mm-hmm.
you talk about the West, because some
Mm-hmm.
people like when I say the West to some of my friends who haven't traveled very much,
Mm-hmm.
that concept of the West and the East, they don't get that. Like it's when you go to the East, the
Mm-hmm.
world is different. It is a different
It's a
place.
different world. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And
True.
you have to go be in it to realize that even though there's a McDonald's in Shanghai, that McDonald's is not the same
It's not
McDonald's
the
that's in
same.
New
It
York
doesn't
City.
taste the same. No, no, no. It
No.
doesn't.
And
Yeah.
even the way you get your food, like the way you order, the whole process is different.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
mm,
So tell us, Daniela, and come on, guys.
who
It was
Chiara,
Martina.
what
Oh, it was
Martina, if you guys
Martina.
ever
Yeah,
could
yeah.
tell us a little about, yeah,
Hmm.
go ahead. If you've been somewhere else or
Yeah.
uh
Or which culture you'd like to most learn about,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
for sure.
Hmm.
Um Well, like for you, because your background's so interesting because you've lived in a
Hmm.
mix of, I mean, especially because of your growing up in Nepal, but I know you went to a boarding school that was very like modeled after the
Yeah.
British
Yeah.
structure.
So my
S-
boarding school was not in Nepal. My boarding school was actually in India. So I
Yeah.
was born in Nepal, but I went to a boarding school in India, and then of course I went. I mean, my father was a diplomat, so we traveled a lot, and finally I kind of settled in Qatar where I started work for 14 years, and then I moved here to Italy, and in between, of course, here and there doing courses, college in the US, or going and living in Zurich for a couple of months. All of that was there. So yeah, so I consider myself a citizen of the world.
Yeah, you should, I think.
I think I'll make my
Huh.
own passport.
Yeah. It's interesting stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is there a place that you had maybe like just, this is personal, not because people are bad or anything, but that you had
Mm-hmm.
trouble or that you didn't like I found China to be very difficult. I really did. I liked
Uh-huh.
China, the
Mm-hmm.
food especially. I really liked the food in China, but the
You did?
culture just I did. I liked the food a lot. When I learned how to appreciate it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I started to
Yeah.
really, really enjoy it. But
Okay.
like as a culture, it's so different. And after 3 years, I just was like, I was just tired of. I was really tired of
Yeah.
China.
Yeah,
But
absolutely understandable. Yeah,
mhm.
I
Do you
understand.
have any countries that
Well,
you had or that you really liked? I mean,
that okay. So there were things, of course, little things that I didn't like in some places, and I liked a lot in some places. One of the and I realized that every culture is so different that it's so hard to be judgmental, and it's and
mhm.
you don't. It takes some time to actually. How to integrate into that culture because you're so
Yeah.
used to thinking differently. Some of the things that I don't like, maybe in Southeast Asia, there's well, it is illegal now, but child marriage is something that I am completely against. So maybe that, although it is accepted in many villages, they have their own government called the panchayat, and
Okay.
they actually, uh,
They marry children when they're very young. Yeah.
exactly. So that is something that I didn't like. Uh, and of course, there are so many things I really like. I like the food culture here in Italy. I think it's
Mhm.
amazing. And now,
Yeah.
with a glass of prosecco and pasta, it's great. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
So Daniela has something to say.
Yeah, if I had to choose, I would probably or I would probably choose Russian or English
English
culture.
culture.
Now I'm watching The Crown on Netflix, and it's very interesting to understand the English dynasty.
Dynasty. Oh,
How
that's great.
dynasty dynasty with a Y.
Dynasty with a
Um,
Y. Yeah.
nice.
Nice. I like The
Um,
Crown. Yeah, I
I
finished
didn't
watching it.
watch it.
I'm waiting for the next season. I really
Nice.
love history, and yeah.
Me
So
too. Me too.
yeah, yeah. Oh, so you should watch The Crown because it gives you some insight into a few things.
Sure.
I think yeah they've done
Cool.
their homework well.
Nice.
Hmm.
Martina, small, tiny correction. Culture shock I think, would be sort of like an uncountable idea. So I had culture shock. No,
Uh huh.
I had culture shock
Uh huh.
when I traveled to China. We might say
Martina.
it was a shock when I
Hmm.
traveled, but culture shock, no, will never have um,
Oh. Mm.
yeah, the article. Hello, Sylvia. She's
Hi,
from our
Sylvia.
school.
Yeah, I
Welcome,
remember
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Yeah. So,
I
Martina, so you and Martina, you had the same
it's China. Yeah, yeah.
experience in China.
So
Yeah.
different in
Hmm.
China. Wow.
Hmm.
I have a few little Italian things. My fun. These stories will make. We have 3 people following us, so I'll tell my
Hmm.
embarrassing culture
Four.
shock story. Four people in Italy. Um, it was a way that I learned, actually, a word that would sort of be like a false friend as well,
Hmm.
for English speakers. So after I'd been in Italy for maybe, I don't know, a few months, and I felt like I wanted one weekend. I thought, okay, this weekend I want to go by myself. I want to go and do a little trip, like just near Milan, but do it by myself so that I can speak Italian, feel like I
Hmm.
live here. So I found that in the city of Cremona, which is close to Milan,
Hmm.
there was this little festival.
Oh,
So I
nice.
went to this festival on a
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, whatever. And I was in Cremona all day and saw the city. And the
Mm-hmm.
festival was for this type of candy that is like a typical food from that city. And
Hmm.
it was their festival to celebrate this candy. And um, when I think in English we'd call it like nougat, the candy.
Oh, is
But
it like that
anyways,
the Torone or something? It's called a
yeah,
Torone.
and that
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and
Oh, I
that so
love
it was
that.
the error that I made, and for our Italian friends watching, they will hear the error because in a moment I'll tell them what I said. So
Mm,
I came back from Cremona, and my
mm,
roommate, he said, "Seth, what did you do today?"
mhm,
And I said, "Today I went to the festival of the Torone," but
mhm,
in Italian. And this is the part the Italian people, I'm going to say the sentence in Italian because they'll get it. I
mhm.
said, sono andato alla sagra del Terroni. And Terroni is like like it's an offensive way to say someone from the south of Italy. And
Oh.
so
Oh.
Torrone is the candy and Terroni are the people. And so I basically told them I went to this festival that was celebrating like offensive, racist
Mhm.
South culture. Uh,
No.
and then, of course, my friend,
Okay,
he started
that.
laughing. He was like, "Seth, wait a
Mhm.
minute. We have to fix this. We have to fix this." So this was how I learned that. I don't think it's super, super offensive, but it can be if it's used in the wrong way.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
you know how there's this North and South Italy thing. And so
Mhm.
this was how I learned the difference between these words. So,
Okay.
but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, we will keep on going then. Oops, one
Mhm.
more story. This one's kind of funny. I like this one. Do you want to
Oh,
read
yeah.
this one for us?
Yes, let's do that. Oops. This one. Okay.
Yeah. Oops.
Sometimes it's one word that changes everything. When Parker Pen marketed a ballpoint pen in Mexico, its ads were supposed to say, "It won't leak in your pocket and embarrass you." However, the company thought the Spanish word embarazar meant embarrass. Instead, the ads in Spanish said, "It won't leak in your pocket and make you pregnant." That's funny.
That's a pretty big, yeah. First, what is the word leak, to leak? That what
Mhm,
might be a word that helps us understand. What does it mean if something
mhm.
leaks?
Whenever we're talking about the word leak, whenever we talk about the word leak, it usually has to do with something liquid that falls or drops slowly
Yeah.
from um,
Well, in this
wherever,
case,
yeah, the container.
yeah, in this case, it's the pen. So the pen
Uh-huh.
sounds like it was broke, like a pen when it breaks,
Mm-hmm.
the ink would leak,
Mm-hmm.
might come
Uh-huh.
out of the. That
Mm-hmm.
was a good way to say though, slowly. I'll write a little. So to leak
Yeah.
is, but when liquid
Falls
come
slowly,
comes out slowly
occurs,
of
yeah,
of a
spills
of a
slowly. Okay.
yeah, of a
Stream.
container.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even in the bathroom or in the kitchen where you get the
Mm-hmm.
water, sometimes we
Yeah.
turn off the water, but there's a drip. Choo,
Yeah.
choo. We call that a
Yeah.
leak.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting one. A good thing to remember that to embarrass, this word embarazar sounds like embarrassed, but apparently it means to be pregnant.
My
um,
goodness. I
I have
mean,
a similar.
can't they get like proofreaders to actually
Well, I think
edit
that this.
and go through,
I
their
think that
ads?
these
I mean,
things
these are
were.
big companies.
Yeah, I think that these were things that were happening when the world was first starting to like globalize. And
Ah,
so,
probably.
so people didn't think this way.
Mm.
Um, I
Mm.
can remember one time in French, they also when I was 16, I spent 1 year in France.
Mm-hmm.
And and in French, they have something a little bit similar to this,
Mm-hmm.
where the way that to say you're pregnant is quite different. But in French,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so the story at one time I was with, and this like my mother I speak French, so like I knew for
Mm-hmm.
me I knew not to do this. But the one day I was with another girl, an American, and we were having dinner with the family that I was
Mm-hmm.
living with, French family. And so the mother of my family was giving everyone food, and she was going around for the second, for seconds to offer us some more.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend, she wanted to say I'm full, and she translated it literally. I am full. Je suis pleine. And
Mm.
je suis pleine in French is quite a rude way of saying. It's kind of like saying I'm knocked up, like I'm pregnant without.
No.
Yeah, and in French you have to say I've had enough. That's how you say
Okay.
no. A
Okay.
totally different structure. But she said,
Mhm.
like, basically, like, I'm pregnant. So,
Oh
and
Lord.
I remember I had this little brother, this little host brother that in the family, he was like 6 years old. And I just remember him going, and, and right away, the father was like, wait a moment, wait a minute, misunderstanding, wait. The same thing where the
Uh,
translation was, and the girl didn't know. She was like, what did I do? What did I do? And I said, you just told everyone that you're pregnant and you basically don't know how it happened. So,
okay. That's a good
so
one. That's a good
similar.
one.
So remember, in Spanish and in French, you got to
Mhm.
think about what you, well, in every language, you have to think about
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
saying. But
But I think that the ones that come down from the Latin sources, they are so they have so many false friends, you know,
yeah.
and yeah. Also, I've noticed a trend because, as you know, the language is Sanskrit. It's a very old language.
Hmm.
It's older than Latin, and in fact, Latin
Yeah.
has some influence from Sanskrit. And I speak Urdu and Hindi. There are a few other languages I speak, and I see the similarities between Italian and Hindi. Like, for
I've
example,
heard about this because they what they call it, like
yeah,
Indo-European, right? There's like a common
yeah,
language that
yeah,
then
yeah.
went to Europe and to India. It's really interesting.
Exactly. So sometimes it surprises me because if I don't find the language in English, the vocabulary in English, I try to go back to Hindi to see if it can match with the Italian
Wow,
sentence. For
that's really
example, yeah, like camice in Italian, in Urdu and Hindi would be camise.
oh wow,
Okay, so
wow,
so similar. Armadio in Italian would be almari in Urdu or Hindi.
wow. So
Yeah.
the sound,
So
some of
there,
the sounds
yeah,
are similar.
like like camera, Italian camera, the
Mhm.
room, uh,
Yeah.
kamra in Urdu.
Wow.
In fact, like it's so different from room, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so there's a lot of influence there.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Do you think that those languages, like, but the grammar, I think of those languages changed because, like, Italian, French, even English, the grammar is very similar. But do you think that, like,
Mhm.
Urdu and Hindi, is the grammar quite different from, like, the
It's
way that you
absolutely,
construct?
yeah. How they
Okay.
construct the sentences, it's completely different. Yeah, the
Okay.
sentence construction is something else. And then, of course, in Nepal we have like in Italian you have the formal and informal, but in Nepal we have a society, a structure which is in different layers. It's not just formal and informal. So you have like
Okay.
the super informal, then you have the semi informal, then you have the okay, you know, informal, then formal. So we have
So
so
these are
many ways of
concepts
saying.
for, like, for me to learn that language would be very, that's a concept. Like, because even in Italian already, in
Yeah.
Italian they have lei,
Hmm.
which, in English we have you. And
Yeah.
even for me, sometimes I'm with people and I think I don't know what I'm supposed to use right now. I don't,
Okay, I
so
understand that. Yeah.
In Nepalese you have even more
Yes.
layers
Yeah.
of formality that,
Absolutely. Hindi is the same. Urdu is an even more formal language, and yeah, so it's a little complicated in that part of the world. If you think
it's
this is complicated, Seth.
oh, no, I know, but, like, I know, like, I tried to learn Chinese, and in Chinese, like, one of the difficulties I had was something similar where
Hmm.
Chinese grammar is actually very, very easy. The grammar is
Hmm.
very easy, but,
Hmm.
the difficulty is that that language is also so old that they
Yeah.
have, in terms of formality, they don't have different, like, they have a word for you, one word, there's
Hmm.
no love.
Hmm.
But, like, even for people's names, you don't, my friends didn't call me my name, they called me teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would say to them, "No, no, like my name is Seth," they would say, "Yes, but you're our teacher." And I would say, "Yeah, but you're my friend. I want you to. For me, I want you to call me my name." But
Mm-hmm.
in their culture, they said, "No, like for us, we want to show you honor, and we want, you know." And
Yeah, respect.
all of these
Mm-hmm.
ideas so different,
Yeah.
really different things. My
Yeah.
goodness, what a chat we're having!
Oh, oh
International
yeah.
chat today. I didn't,
Yes.
I didn't expect to go there. Nice, nice.
Yes.
Let's go to a different
All right.
activity. So we've seen a few stories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, shorter advertisements, and we want to identify
Mm-hmm.
some false friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
blunder. What's a blunder?
Mm-hmm.
Blunder's a nice word. What would you say a
Yeah, a
blunder is?
blunder. It's a big mistake. Like
And yeah, it's
you're
embarrassing, an
taking
embarrassing
mistake to an
mistake.
extreme. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An embarrassing, and usually a pretty big, yeah, a big, embarrassing
Mhm.
mistake.
Yeah.
um,
Just to
all
answer
right.
to
So how about
Sylvia. Angela, do you speak Urdu or Hindi? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
you speak both,
Yeah.
right?
It's so close. It's
You
like saying Spanish and Italian. Yeah. So I
doesn't
speak Urdu with
Michelle
Michelle.
also?
Yeah, Michelle speaks Urdu and Hindi too. So
Yeah,
we
because
speak
Sylvia, you know Michelle as well.
Michelle. Yeah.
We
Teacher
have, I
Michelle.
think at Meravigli, we have a cool group of teachers. We have
Yeah, we
teachers
have an
from like,
amazing.
we don't just have British and Americans. We've got Nepalis, Pakistanis, Bangladeshi. We have
We have,
every
yeah,
Australians. We have
yeah,
everyone.
good mix. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like
Mhm.
Tiago, I think, wasn't Tiago born in Brazil, but he grew up
Yeah,
in
Tiago's,
California.
yeah,
Caesar from I'm like the boring one. I'm just like born in Ohio. Or
yeah,
I was
like,
born in Missouri, but you know,
no, but you're
yeah,
interesting because you've lived in China, you've lived, and Liam's lived in South Korea.
yeah,
So,
Liam.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we have a lot of
We have a good
experience.
group. We do.
Yeah.
We have a cool group. Okay, let's look at these. The first one. Do you want to read the first one for us? And at
Yeah, it's,
home,
mhm.
so you guys at home, find the false friend and tell us what the words should be. Yes, Sylvia, thank you.
Sylvia, thank you. All right, so let's see. Let me read this. You will love our delicious sausages. We don't add any contraceptives. So not only are they delicious, but they are also healthy for you. Okay, so what's the wrong word here?
This is definitely a blunder because this
Yeah,
is,
this is like a huge blunder.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think by the laughing that you gave us as you read the word certainly help
So,
us understand.
mhm.
Um, so a
Uh,
contraceptive,
is it
not
the
the
same word in
same.
Italian? In Italian, do they use the word contraceptives?
No, a contraceptive in Italian is they is preservativo. They use like to preserve.
Ah, no wonder. Okay, okay,
So
that's
the
what
so here, let's see. So the proper word, the word we should use here
I.
is what? We don't add any preservatives.
Mhm.
So, oh, also, nice job. Daniela wrote additives. Additives could be another. So the difference, right? Like preservatives
Mhm,
prevent the food from going bad, from spoiling. An
mhm,
additive might be what? Like additives might be chemicals that do, I don't know, like
mhm.
not spices, but things that make color or
Uh-huh.
the texture.
Mhm.
Um, but now, nice word though, additive.
Yeah.
But contraceptives for us are things that keep you from becoming pregnant.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Very,
That would
so a
be fun.
sausage with a contraceptive inside.
Oh, no, we don't want to imagine that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
Ah,
that's pretty weird.
so Daniela says that in Italy, preservativo is the name of,
It's the name of is for
it's for
conservative.
contraceptive.
No, now I'm getting all confused.
Contraceptive.
Jeez. They get it. They get
They
it.
get it. They get it. Yeah. All right.
I'll read the next one.
Yes,
The same
please.
thing for the second one. If you guys at home see the false friend, you can tell us what it is and what words
Mhm.
should we be using. Okay,
Okay.
so home decor. This week only, our pillows are 50% off. The
Mhm.
pillows are green,
Mhm.
morbid, and medium sized,
Mhm.
perfect for indoor or outdoors.
Mhm.
Come see what we have in store.
Mm.
I don't
Mhm.
think I would buy these pillows.
No. Okay. All
So,
right.
do you want to go ahead?
Yes. Now, before we go on to that false friend, Seth, while growing up, I learned pillows were for sleeping and
Mhm.
cushions were mainly for decorative purposes. Would you agree with that? Because, yeah,
Yeah, there's
or,
so many
or
in
throws. Hmm.
yeah, I was gonna say a throw pillow. Yeah, a pillow though, usually I think of the thing I use, yeah, when I sleep. But a cushion, to me, I mean, again, with decor, there's probably very precise definitions.
True.
But yeah, usually things that are decorative, I might
Hmm.
call a throw pillow or
Hmm.
just a throw, or
Uh-huh.
yeah, or a
A
cushion.
cushion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Daniela says that instead of
Morbid.
morbid, it should have the word soft should have been written. Very good.
Yeah, because morbid or morbido in Italian means soft.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So
All right.
so this is a pretty common. I hear this
Mhm.
pretty often where
Mhm.
people will say morbid.
Mhm.
Do any of you at home though, what does morbid mean to Angela and I, to an English speaker? Because this is a strange word for us, strange
Yeah.
word to use. Do any of you know what is morbid in
Yeah.
English? Like, what does it mean to an English speaker? Because it's a real word, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Not a word that's used too often. I don't think.
No, I, I
Um,
I don't think I've ever used that word. Although
my,
I know it exists.
I think the time I think of it in two situations. One situation in like the medical field. There are
Mm-hmm.
some other words that come from this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know how we spell it though. I'm trying to spell it. Hold on. So one of them actually with the disease, with the coronavirus right now, we're
Mm-hmm.
hearing the word morbidity,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is like Italian, but morbidity has to do with how many people are dying
Mm-hmm.
from a particular disease.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so morbidity, or sometimes we'll hear like the adjective, another
Mm-hmm.
or the adverb for morbidly.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll hear about people being morbidly obese, which so I've
Mm-hmm.
shared too. And morbidly obese, so obese means what? That you're very fat. And if you're morbidly obese, you're so fat that it's potentially bad for you. You could die because of your weight.
Yep.
Uh, a problem in my country. um,
Ah,
obsessed. I No,
mm,
I don't think it means obsessed.
not exactly obsessed, but yeah, an unhealthy
I
direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I think another way that it gets
Mm-hmm.
used so like in the medical situation, it's referring to like dying.
Mm-hmm.
But in like more common speech, people will say things like, "Oh, that's morbid." And this is probably Martina, I think, where you've heard this on a TV show or something. If something is kind of weird, we might, or especially like if someone's talking about something that's gross, like that is
Mm-hmm.
talking about death, we might say like, "Oh, that person's really morbid." The
Mm-hmm.
idea like they're thinking about death, they're thinking
Yeah.
about bad ideas.
Yeah.
Um,
Very, mm.
my mom, I think of my mom's. I always use my mom as an example, but I do sometimes like if I my mom and I really like to watch scary movies together. But
Ah,
we don't. Dark would be a good. These would be ideas that go
yeah.
together. But
Yeah.
like, so my
Some more
mom and
ideas.
I, when we watch scary movies, she
Mm-hmm.
likes movies with ghosts. She likes things, when something jumps out. But she doesn't like when someone is killing everyone and there's lots of blood. And she doesn't like that
Mm,
because
mm,
it's morbid. It's
mm.
morbid.
Mhm.
So morbid has the idea of like being sort of focused on death.
Mm.
It's not a nice. So these pillows, if these are morbid pillows, I don't even
No,
know what that means.
we don't want them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in Italian they have a word or morboso. I wrote morbosa. I think morboso would be morbid in English.
Okay. So morboso would be for a male and morbosa would be a female, you
Like
think?
yeah, masculine or
Because of the
feminine.
O. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think morbid comes from morboso, and then soft we just have
Soft, fluffy.
which sounds like soft. So yeah, so
Mhm.
anyways, cool. All right.
Nice.
Morbid. A few more. Do you want to do this? Shoes? Some shoes?
Yes, let's do that. Okay. Marketing blunders. Come into Peter's to find your next pair of shoes. Our shoes are high quality leather, sleek and sensitive for all occasions.
Oh, these shoes are
Sensitive.
so sensitive.
Sensitive.
I wonder, they must cry easily, these shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, they must be
Do you
allergic
wanna
to
yeah, yeah,
to feet.
allergic to feet, yeah, nice.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, we'll give a moment to see if anyone
Mhm,
so identify what should the correct word be in this
mhm,
shoe.
mhm.
Um, have you bought any
Shoe
shoe while we
ad.
give them a moment to type, I'll ask you a question about shoes. Have
Yeah.
you bought any shoes lately?
I have, you know that I'm a shoe fanatic. I
Of
love
course you
shoes.
are.
Yeah. So yeah, well, not after the quarantine started, but I mean, I just came back from the US, right? Like the beginning of the month. So of course, I had to go shopping there at TJ Maxx
Wow,
at
big
Century
bag.
21. So obviously, I got some nice shoes there.
Daniela, sensitive is the correct word, but what should the word be? Because sensitive, what does sensitive mean to us,
Uh-huh.
Angela?
Sensitive to us means somebody like, for example, somebody who cries easily. Your skin could you could have sensitive skin, like maybe you need a cream for sensitive skin because you break out into a rash every time
Yeah,
you use another regular kind of cream or yeah.
nice,
And
Daniela, thank you.
yeah, Daniela is correct. Just maybe it's just a typo.
Oops, sorry. And I made a typo too. So
Okay.
sensitive is feeling lots of emotions, but sensible,
Sensible. Okay, so sensible.
sensible, there's an easy, so I think like reasonable,
Hmm.
logical, those would be sort of like sensible.
Yeah, knowing the difference between right and wrong, making a good
Yeah.
decision. Okay, that would be
And this is
sensible.
interesting. So in this case, thinking about shoes. So shoes cannot be
Mhm.
logical.
Yeah,
So what
exactly.
do we mean when we talk about like clothes being sensible?
Sensible. Oh, a sensible pair of shoes in the sense that you can say that, well, they aren't high heeled or they're comfortable. Okay.
Yeah, well, and also like in this sentence here, so sensible for all occasions. So when
Hmm.
shoes are sensible, clever could be
Hmm.
like sensible, maybe
Hmm.
clever has more to do with yeah, being smart.
Smart.
But if we talk
Yeah.
about clothes being sensible, it's more the
Hmm.
idea what yeah, like that they're going to be comfortable. Martina
Oh, very
wrote
good.
suitable.
Yeah. Suitable.
Word, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good word
Like
for
when
it.
we travel, especially when you travel, you have to think about which shoes will
Comfort.
be sensible.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going hiking and you take flip-flops, those are not sensible shoes.
Yeah. True.
Perfect. I'll read the
Yes.
vacuums.
Yes.
Okay. Venus vacuums. Our vacuums are specially designed to suck more dirt out of your carpets, ensuring a good polite every time.
Good, polite.
Strange.
Nice. Hmm.
This one, so I think this is an easy one to
Yeah.
identify. But what
Hmm.
is can you guys at home tell us what instead of so polite is obviously our false friend, but um what word should this be? Because like what is this like polite maybe looks like in Italian like pulito.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, definitely.
Um but what is the form of that word in English that we need? I
Mhm.
hate do you like vacuuming?
I don't mind.
For me, it kind of depends. I like vacuuming carpets because, well, actually, like in this picture of the vacuum, you can see like the lines where the vacuum has passed. And for some reason, I really
Hmm.
like seeing the clean carpet. But so like here at my house here, we have the floors are tiled, you know, and so when you
Hmm.
vacuum, you cannot leave
Mm.
those lines. And so I hate vacuuming in Italy. I
Ah,
like
okay.
vacuuming at home in my house. American houses, we always have we usually have carpeting in our house.
Yeah.
So all right, so Daniela's on it. So polite means good manners, right?
Yeah. To have good
And
manners. Yeah. Good.
instead, and then the previous comment, she says polite, we should have clean.
Clean.
Um, I would say here though, in this particular sentence, we probably noun for because clean is an adjective, but here in
Hmm.
this particular noun, so ensuring cleaning is the noun,
Hmm.
ensuring a good
Yep.
cleaning every
Hmm.
time. Nice job, you
Yep.
guys. Cool, cool.
Very good. Nice.
One more chance. This is kind of, we have, we can do this, I
Oh,
think, in
yeah.
4 minutes.
Yeah. 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 We can.
At home, if you guys want to start typing, look ahead,
The
maybe at
answers.
3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6. Give us the answers so that when
Okay.
you already
Yeah.
have given us
Number
the
your
answers.
answers, please. Yeah. Number
Yeah.
your
Do
answers
you want
so
to
that we know.
do the first one and then
First
I'll
one,
do,
yes,
we go
of
back and
course.
forth?
Yeah, I can't watch movies about the war. I'm too sensitive and I cry too much. Oh, I'm too sensitive because, I get
Oh,
emotional. And it's true. I can't watch sad movies.
I
It's
do.
like,
No,
yeah,
me too.
I have like my eyes swollen and everything.
They don't even
But
have to be like really, really sad, and I still
exactly.
cry.
We're
All right,
Cancerians.
I'll
What do you want? What do you expect? Okay.
yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
number 2, the park is littered with garbage. Someone should really clean it up.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
So,
be nice.
Daniela.
Garbage all over.
Daniela gave us the first
Clean up.
answer too. Okay, great.
Nice, nice.
Right. Number 3, the dash
Mhm.
firefighter rescued the child.
Daniela got it.
Good.
Thank you, Daniela. The brave firefighter.
Great.
Oh, she's
Daniela's
also
on
helped us on number 4.
fire.
She is. It is polite to cover your mouth when you sneeze.
Yes,
She got
please.
them all. Daniela, on it, on it, on it. What's next? Do you want to do the next one, number 5?
Okay, let me just hide this so I can read it. Oops, we're both pressing at the same time. Number 5. Are we at number 5? The film was so boring, he nearly fell asleep. Okay, so
Yeah.
boring.
Oh, sorry. I can be sure. Oops. And the last, my family has a farm where they grow vegetables. This one for me is hard in Italian because my family lives um, on a farm, but and so when I'm speaking, even in Italian, I have to think farm. I always like because in fattoria in Italian is farm, but it sounds like factory, and I get confused. So these false friends sometimes work in both directions. So
Okay. Good job, Daniela. That's what my daughter is doing. I put my daughter,
to what?
I
Yeah,
make,
on the
I make my
iPad.
daughter watch iPad. Okay, yeah, good. That's what my daughter's doing too. Yeah.
Well, I think we need to be
Hmm.
finishing up. Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Then who is with us today? Daniela Martina and Silvia, especially
Sylvia.
following us a little bit. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
Um,
And
I
see you
hope you
all
have
again
another
very soon.
yeah, have another good day in quarantine and study your English, read a book, watch a movie, stand on the balcony, get some air.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.